with Colby Bowman.
Good afternoon. I'm Colby Bowman. I work for the St. Regis Mohawk Tribe. This is going to be short, sweet pictures, videos, my pilot study for propagating freshwater mussels. Just looking at one species right now, and in the future I'll do a lot more. So a little background. Tony mentioned where we're from. Messina, New York, which is unique because it's a super fun remediation site. Intensive dredging capping programs going on the lower 7.2 river miles of the Grass River. This is because of industrial byproducts, PCBs from Alcoa Arconic. This dredging program will disrupt around 300 acres of the river bottom and negatively affect more than 1 million freshwater mussels, representing 17 species. So the top 9 species being affected, these make up over 95% of the total species composition in the river. So this is what we're looking at. These numbers were estimated with DEC's help and previous field surveys in 2015, 2016. You can see Leptodea confinata, Eastern Leptodea, makes up 1.2 million mussels being affected. So for this pilot study, I chose Leptodea fragilis because it's a fall spawner. The rest are in the spring, so this is just a pilot study. I call it working out of my dungeon. So all these combined would be close to 1.7 million mussels affected in that stretch of river. So like I mentioned, I chose the species. It is a long-term brooder. Glochidia is released in September through November when water temperatures reach 11 degrees Celsius. Individuals were already caged, females were caged by a recovery effort from New York State DEC, HDR, the recovery, the dive team. And the freshwater drum is the known host. Freshwater mussels are unique because they are host specific. A lot of the freshwater mussels use freshwater drum to reproduce. So freshwater drum, I've been working on the St. Lawrence River since 2007 at Tibbs. I was with the DEC for 7 years, and in my surveys, I've never come across a great population of juvenile freshwater drum. I did do an electrofishing survey this year in the fall to get the host fish. I only found 3 adult freshwater drum in 2 days of electrofishing. And with my setup, I have just a small scale, so I needed the year class 0 to 3, so like the 4-inch to 8-inch range, just for housing purposes. Unfortunately, I didn't catch any, so I did contract out with Genoa National Fish Hatchery, Doug Aloisi. They set up 78 freshwater drum in the Lake Sturgeon release. So these are, I separated the 78 into 5 different tanks. So my tank setup, 20 gallons, I had 3 20 gallons, so 20 fish in each, 10 gallons, 10 in each, a gallon per fish. The next key, in propagation, you need your mussels, you need gravid females. Like I said, HDR dive team, they did cage mussels for us. Here's the DC on the left, Jay Wilkins, my guinea pig. We went through these and checked the gravidity of them. So we went through, checked about 87 of this species. We did take 20 gravid females to the dungeon, but you can look here to the check gravidity. You can see the inflated gills. Next step, extract Glochidia. So here you use a syringe method. You flush the gills, you put the needle inside the gills, flush everything into a beaker. Next step is to check viability. Viability is crucial. We're looking to have it over 95%. for maximum retention on the fish gills. So it's a sensory response. Next, here's an inflated gill. All those water tubes are Glochidia, juvenile, the first initial stage of juveniles. Here you can see the difference. These are inflated, and after the syringe method was used, you can see them deflated. Next step, estimated number of Glochidia per mussels. Just simple math with milliliters and beakers. I'm doing subsamples, counting everything. You can see a broad range of numbers of Glochidia. These were based on like the size of the mussel. So the more Glochidia we had, it seemed like the bigger mussel there was. Next step, did an infestation bath. So like I said, the life cycle, you have your Glochidia, sensory reaction, it goes on gills. We put a freshwater drum in the infestation bath, aeration. We check the gills every 5 minutes. Our ranges went from 13 to 18 minutes. We check them every 5 minutes because you can over-suffocate these fish. So you can just see the white tips on the gill edges. This species, the fragilis, they do encapsulate on the gills, and they're one of the species that grows over time on the gills. And next is the waiting game. So my water temperature was around 65 degrees Fahrenheit. These are temperature dependent, so it is a waiting game. So increased temperatures, increased rate of drop off. I estimated at 65 would be around the 28 to 30 day range. We went way past that. But luckily we had one tank drop off, and then I had 2 electric heaters, and I put them in the tanks, increased temperature, and I had immediate drop off within 2 days. So I went from 64, I increased to 66, 68. Maximum drop off was around the 72, 74 range. So juveniles that are dropped off between November 13th and December 1st, so 27 days to 45 days. And at the 30-day mark, my 2 tanks were dropping off. And here's pictures of juvenile drop-offs. And you can see this is a really good day. This day we counted over 14,000 from one tank. So we siphoned through the tanks into a sieve, 125 micron sieve, and then we sat there with clickers and counted all the mussels. Once we had our juvenile drop-offs, I did use sediment trays. There's a lot of different methods to raising juvenile mussels, but this system works best for this species. So there's just a fine amount of sediment in the bottom of the trays with aeration. The next, the sediment trays continued. I did a weekly water change, and now that they're growing out, I do it twice a week. I feed a nano shellfish diet 2 times a day. And looking at the sediment trays every day, I can tell how healthy the tanks are because the clarity, water clarity. So some tanks get more with the amount of mussels in those trays. And during the water changes, you could look at the growth and the health of the mussels, which is, you can see in these slides, from juvenile drop off day 1 all the way up to, I think this is day 34. And here's a video. This is the first day dropping off the gills. So these are new transformers. So now they are officially juvenile mussels. So this is the same tank, day 15. You can see the growth. See them moving around with their foot. You can see the stomach. And then we move on to the 22nd day, same tank. You can just tell they're growing, they're healthy, they're active. They're pedal feeding algae diet. And this is day 50. You can see the growth in them and the gut. Really active. Day 57, you can clearly see the foot that's coming out of the shell. Pedal feeding, like I said before. Adults do siphon, juveniles pedal feed, so they just reach out like a hand, bring the algae in, and you can see the gut again on them. So my success rate was a lot higher than expected. I used 5 different female mussels, 78 fish. I had a total of 87,311 juvenile drop-offs that we counted. Because of the pilot study and lack of room, I did do a free release of 49,000 mussels into the lower grass river where we got the female mussels. And right now, as of Tuesday, I had approximately 31,000 still in-house. And survivability rates on juvenile mussels from drop-off until year 1, where I'm calling that a success, where I can tag them, it will drop. So in a good rate, a good trial run, if you are at 10%, you're doing really well for mussel recovery. But hopefully it's going to be greater. This is the first trial. It's never been done in our office. But again, you can see the healthy stomach, the growth lines, and you can see how much they've grown since the initial day 1. So the future plans, I plan to grow them out, overwinter them. Once spring comes, I'll put them in cages. They do better in the wild. When water temperatures increase, it's kind of set it, forget it. Hopefully they'll grow exponentially over the summer, and I can tag them hopefully in the fall. Right now I'm constructing a propagation facility on tribal lands. I have an electrician there today. So I'll be working on that the next couple months. Continue overwintering freshwater drum. In the spring, I plan on collecting host fish. Some of them use largemouth bass, perch, bullheads, freshwater drum, that's number 1. And then we plan to, in a perfect world, I can do 6 more. But we'll see how everything pans out. This is just a little overview of what my facility looks like, just a rough draft. We'll have research systems, sediment trays, rearing pans, a lab, tri-lab, and that's all I have.